Well, here we are. So, got everything mounted for the most part. I think Margaret wants about 10 more things in here. Got her a mag mount over there for her phone. Got the iPad up with the Gia GPS. Got my Baofeng right there without a mount. Got the camera system all around the Jeep, so we have 4 cameras coming and going. Place for my phone. Got the ICOM 7100. Got the Midland GMRS radio. Got my Spod mounted that controls all my lights. Got my Garmin InReach Mini, which when we don't have cell phone signal, will give us signal anywhere. It also works with the Gaia maps. I think that's about it. We'll add some more. What you think, Ann Margaret?
I have to fit in there along with all of our stuff, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, plenty of room. You don't take up much room.
Yeah, just don't hit anything where I fly forward. And
No,
hit
we'll take that off
everything.
before we hit anything. Yep, completely safe. Doesn't block any of the views. Oh, I forgot. Got the
GoPro.
GoPro up top. Yes, absolutely. What else could we put in here?
Who knows? I'm sure we'll figure something out. We do need to get the top back on.
Yeah, we do. K5 TVN. Adios. Good evening. Welcome to TrueVine. Just wanted to take a minute and show y'all something that I think you're all a little interested in all of your vehicles, how to mount different things inside of your vehicle, whether it's a phone, a radio, CB, a pistol, you name it. We're always looking for better ways to mount things in our vehicles. So I wanted to take a second and show y'all kind of what I have in old Leonidas here to get everything mounted onto and working for the way that we use it. So that brings me to my table of what am I mounting and why. I like to have quite a good bit of control in this space shuttle that I drive that I call Leonidas, and I am a tech geek. So I initially accomplished this through RAM mounts. Hey, Dingo. And I've got a couple different options. I started out with the RAM mount 1-inch ball telephone holder, but sometimes it takes 2 hands to get it. I actually use this on the Harley. Worked really, really good. You have these different size connections, and they attach to the balls that you mount wherever. You also have this clamp that goes on a 1-inch, 1.25 inch. That is a 1-inch. You have a bigger clamp, and this is all made by RAM. So this is the iPad holder that I have. We've got a Night Ease magnetic little piece of metal on the bottom that somehow or another got stuck on there, but it fits the iPad. So I've done a little upgrading throughout the last couple of months and years, but I use something called 67 Designs, and they have a piece that attaches right to that 1-inch. It comes in the 20mm ball, and it just comes apart with Allen screws. It goes right over that bar, anywhere along that bar you want. They make 1-inch ends that can fit right on the little, what would you call those? Machined metal ends on a couple of them with 20mm balls on the others. And they mount right to that 1-inch bar that is in the Jeep. You can also get different ends. This is the 1-inch end that fits all of the RAM mount stuff. They also have a 20mm connection that fits the smaller connections here and a lot of the connections that are on a lot of the things that you have. So we're gonna talk about what I'm mounting there and the other things that you can mount. So they have a mag light holder that has the 20mm. I do not have a mag light out here. This is one of my EDC lights. It's a stream light. It's too loose in there, but a 1-inch mag light mounts. So you have that. You can mount anywhere inside of any vehicle. I also do a good bit of stuff for YouTube and video where we're going. So they make a 20mm mount that actually fits the case that goes on the GoPro. Like that case right there. They have multiple different kinds of magnetic mounts, round and otherwise, for different telephones, iPads, whatever else. They make carbon fiber arms, so if you need an extension off of your bar or off of those Carolina Metal Masters, and I've had a couple of these. They call them, I think, macro, mini, small, medium, and large. This is the mini, and then that is the small. There is the medium. So found out as I ordered a couple of more connections to finish up my ham radio installation and reinstallation of the iPad for this trip. They make them in orange, and wouldn't you know, Mojave's key color is orange, and so is Leonidas's. So that is the mini, that is the small, and that is the medium. So you have all of those different mounts, all of those different connections that can go 20 millimeter or 1 inch, either way. There are mounts for two-way radios, ham radio, bubble pack radios. I don't have those out here tonight. There's also a mount for the little Garmin Mini. What that does for me is anywhere I don't have cell signal, I can send a text or communicate from that and send my location. It works in conjunction with the iPad to be able to work on a lot of the mapping apps. I have an Spod, which controls up to 8 different switches. The mounts are actually under my hood. I had the touchscreen version, and 67 Design makes a mount for the back of it in the 20 millimeter. It worked great. You can do a lot of stuff with it, but I like the instant on and off, so I went with this one. And it's got a different, just a little different mount that fits on the back of it. It's a little bit larger. So I have my camera system where Ann Margaret can see where we're going when we're crawling over the slick rock in Moab. So this is a wireless camera, and there are 4 cameras that mount each around the Jeep. This one is in the front of the Gladiator right by the winch. As we go up slick rock, you can aim this down or up, depending on where you're going, and see everything. I mean, like literally 6 inches out from the bumper. But it is a quick hookup. It has a reset switch. They're all wireless. There's one wire to plug in. You have to have a power and ground to it. And I have it mounted on a magnet. So you just take it loose and I can mount it on the back, on the trailer, anywhere I have a powered switch. On the sides of the Jeep, I have some little brackets on my light bracket for the ditch lights for the mounts for the sides. So as I'm going through traffic, I can see right and left what's coming on either side as I'm passing, and that all shows up wirelessly on the 10-inch screen. The 10-inch screen itself has a 1-inch ball on the back. It takes an SD card, so it records everything in HD that you're doing. And I got these at a local tractor dealership. They use them on lots and lots of heavy equipment and ag stuff. So the main thing and the main reason I restarted all of this was I've gone from VHF, UHF to HF in ham radio. So this is an ICOM 7100 all band, and on the back of it there is a little adapter that goes to a 1-inch ball. I also got a little 20 millimeter ball with the same little adapter, but that metal ball on the metal clamps sometimes tends to slip a little, and it's fairly heavy. So I swapped over to the 1-inch ball. I've also got some of these little gear keeper straps for the mics. They fit just about anything, and you can mount them just about anywhere. This is the RAM mount for the iPad, and they just spread apart. They work a little easier. Because you can take one hand here, and that spreads everything, and then you mount the iPad to that as you go up and on the trails wherever you go. So that's what I'm going to be installing in the Jeep. Not all of it. A couple pieces are extra. I'm going to leave some of the RAM stuff off and put in another vehicle. There are some different mounts. This is a little camera mount I actually got on the road. I think it is a Delkin mount, and you can do camera stuff off of it. The GoPro fits right in it just fine. There is another ball mount by Ram that is a suction cup mount, but I am not a big fan of those suction cup mounts. I've got a little GoPro clamp mount that I've used with a sawmill before, and it goes on just about everything and mounts to the GoPro. So it's going to take a minute to get all that hooked up, But let me see if I can get started and determine position and see where I need to put everything. So the first thing is a JRC overhead molly panel. This was one of the first things we put in. It goes between your front here and the mid support, whatever you call that. It has worked out really well for us. It's a good place to hide wires. And very, very simple, not all that expensive. It requires that you drill 2 holes in the front, right there and there. And it gives you access to all of your levers on your T-tops that take everything off. These back 2 go inside the holes that are already there where part of the mounts are. So that's where we have the GMRS mounted. I've had the Cobra CB mounted there, and the last couple of months I mounted a ICOM 2730A VHF UHF ham radio there. The next piece we have is this Vector Off-Road E-Dock. It was one of the second things that I put in to mount in, and it has a couple of factory bolt holes there that just have a little spacer below them. You fold your windshield forward, your little inner trim piece here, you cut 2 off of the little plastic piece and it bolts right in. It's a 1-inch bar and it gives you a ton of mounting options in terms of where you put everything. So I could not make it without it. These little 1-inch balls are the next thing. These are Carolina Metal Masters Off-Road, fabricates them. And like I said, they're a 1-inch. They send you this piece and this piece right here, which your trim comes out. You can mount on the bottom or top of either the passenger or driver side. They have a little Allen key on the inside that tightens them back in your standard bolt hole. So I have one there. They also mount on your T-top. So you can take out the factory bolt here on the little lever that holds the T-top on and mount one there. Gives you that same 1-inch ball. And they tighten the same way. Hey, Sugar Bear. Hey, Sugar Bear. What you doing, Sugar Bear? What you doing, Sugar Bear? Well, as you can see, I'm in the Jeep working on the bar. I've already got a couple things mounted. I've got the ICOM 7100. I've got a magnet for my phone, and I've got the GoPro that we use when we're going off-roading and working on YouTube videos and that kind of stuff. So this is that little mount I told you about. You pull the screw out of it, and it goes around that 1-inch bar on the dock. It has 2 little rubber gaskets that go on the inside to keep it super secure, especially if you have something heavy. This is the little carbon fiber arm, and this is the little 20mm mount. On this side for Ann Margaret, or if she's driving for me, I'm putting a mag mount for the phone. So 2 20mm, the little clamp that goes over the bar. Check this out. Okay, so you can see that little mount right here with that 20mm ball and the little clamp and the carbon fiber arm and the other clamp where it goes to the 1-inch ball on the back of the radio. Here it is, pretty simple. 2 screws with a little rubber part. This is one that was on there previously, so it shifted a little, but I'm using it for a phone, so it's no big deal. So 2 screws, you wrap one around the bottom, 2 screws. So there's 2 screws. You take it, and I'm gonna wrap this from the bottom around. See if I can do this while we're videoing. Can you see it good from there, or can you see it better from the other side? Just gonna install the screw in the little threaded hole. Take the other screw in the other little threaded hole. So you tighten that up, get it right where you want it. And in this case, I'm gonna let it come to the front just a little because it is gonna hold the phone, so we wanna give it a little more distance. And then you just tighten these screws up. So if you can see it, this is a carbon fiber arm. Those are the end pieces. This is a 20mm. And to install it, there are these machine pieces around the end. And this clamp fits in there. You unscrew it all the way. And I like to put my hand right there to keep it from slipping. That opens up and it installs on that. So we're gonna take that, Mount right there. Push that bolt up in there just a little. Get it tight, but not completely tight because you want to adjust it. Okay. Here's the mag mount. Here's the other end. We're going to unscrew that other end. And if they drop off, you can always grab them. So this is going to open back up and go on there. To loosen it just a little more. Sometimes I notice I have to take them completely off and put them back on. Then you have swivel in this up and down. So depending on what direction you want it to go, you just move your little swivel piece to the side. And same with this up here. If you want it to go up and down, you leave it sideways like that. If you want it to go side to side, you can turn it up or down either way. And in this case, I'm gonna kind of come over to the side like this. All right, and kind of back up just a little bit. Okay. On this one, I'm gonna loosen this where I can turn it to the side like this and adjust it, and it gets it as much out of our view as possible, but gets it where me or Ann Margaret or whoever's riding over here can access it. Now, these magnets will hold iPads, little two-way radios, iPhones, anything that you put a little sticky piece of metal on the back. So, there it is. Telephone mount for the passenger side of the Jeep. Done. Now, a couple more. I've got the iPad that I've got to mount in here. I've got the screen for the cameras. I've got my Spod controller. And I got a little extra one over there if I want to put something else, maybe my light. But that's what I'm working on. Doesn't take long at all once you get everything in place. Oh, I'm a high-tech redneck. Okay, so should I have that with my glasses on? Just let it